Four lines, and the white lines, 4 lines from the bottom of the top paragraph on page Vov. So we explained, or at least we mentioned briefly, a phenomenal Ayin. At the ratzon hanefesh, its method of affecting the koiches is by top-down directive. Because in fact, the koiches, even sechel itself, which is the super koyach, is not capable of fully understanding or fully relating to ratzon. Ratzon is a supreme koyach. Ratzon is a koyach on the level of the nefesh itself. There is no way of grasping in sechel the principle of ratzon. Therefore, the effect of ratzon is a direct effect from ratzon itself, without what's called hislabshut. Without engaging the koiches. Like the ratzon does not deal with the sechel, says, don't you understand that this is what you should be doing and this is what you should want? There's no such communication. Because ratzon provides an element of life, of reality, of a power of nefesh that the koiches cannot even dream about. They're all on a functional level. Ratzon is on an essential level. Sechel, as we all know, functions in the form of question-answer, which means that first comes the so to speak, something of a question that bothers you, a negative, and then the answer is based on the negative. Oh, that satisfies this question. Ratzon it does not have that process at all. Ratzon is direct statement of the nefesh. This is what I am, this is what I want. It's not in response to anything negative, to anything that bothers me. There's no external query. Thus, there is no way that the koiches should be able to correlate to ratzon on a pnimistic way. They accept the ratzon, but that they accept with full dedication and full submission, because they recognize that this is a supreme element. This is a super element. It's not in our realm. And it is within the nature of things, in the entire Seder Ishtalshus that God created, that in the presence of something super, something in a different realm, everything becomes submissive. Notice, and this is a crude mashal, but it's very real, how submissive an animal is to a human being. There's no comparison in the strength of the animal versus the strength of the human being. And yet it's totally submissive. Because the human human being stands for a different realm totally, and everything in the whole creation has this nature that it is submissive to something which is so to say beyond its understanding, which has a quality, a quality of truth, because this quality of truth, as we mentioned yesterday, is really representative of the Motzei Rishon, which is where all greatness comes from. And this is how the koiches follow the ratzon. Okay, let's continue. The line begins with the word. I said 4 lines from the bottom. Whenever you start, it seems like there is more to talk about. So, 4 lines from the bottom on the vechen hu shlitas hakoiches b'hayivorim. The last thing that we spoke about is the koiches pnimiyim of sechel, how sechel affects the moyach al shalt al alev. The brain has the rulership and direct the heart. That is not by superimposing its will, but it is by engaging with the heart and bringing to the heart the sense of what the moyach contains. The similar Ayin goes down that the koiches have rulership over the Yevorim, that the Yevorim, although, as we pointed out, the Yevorim and the koiches are in different realms. This is Gashmis and this is Ruchnis. So as we explained, that the hislabshut of the koiches in the Yevorim and the sechel that directs the Eber is not the Eber, it is the koyach that's in the Eber. We discussed this extensively the other day, or maybe yesterday before. When we speak about the slapshus of sechel in the koyach hayad, we speak about in terms where the hand is directed to draw a picture or to write. In other words, the principle of movement per se, the principle of movement is something plain movement is something that the Eber itself can relate to, because it is a very simple move. And we said even more than that just to draw a line without any message, without any representation, also is something which the Eber can relate to. Because a simple move on top of the Eber will create a line. And even more than that, like we said, that to create a fine line, so to speak, a gentle kind of a touch, is also within the realm, within the same domain as movement. And therefore the hand, the koyach hayad, can relate to it. But a tziyur, a picture, there is no correlation there at all. This is what's called the hislabshut ha-sechel ha-moyach in the hand. The sechel in the hand.
Sorry, one more time. There's no relationship to the picture, and then we said hislabshut.
This is where the hislabshut of koyach in the koyach, not in the Eber. Seichel cannot be slavish in the Eber.
Not in the, but in
In the koyach hatnua,
the.
it can direct the koyach hatnua. It's not in the sense that the koyach hatnua understands what it's doing, but it can direct it.
When the brain dresses up in the heart, when the brain dresses up in the heart, we've said that the reason it could do so is because they have like a common denominator. They both have like the same scent or something. What was a muscle used to understand that?
Well, the ahava of the yira and all the various interests that the heart appreciates. Along with that, it appreciates also if these things have value and meaning. And if they don't have value and meaning, the heart loses interest in it. K'moi kein. Okay, we have. K'moi kein. Hoinyan beruchnis. The similar is in ruchnis. The slap is a nefesh or elikis, but nefesh habahamis. But the nefesh elikis engages. That's called hislabshut. Engages the nefesh habahamis. Nefesh or elikis moishe v'shulat nefesh habahamis. Nefesh elikis rules and directs the nefesh habahamis. Ein yonoi. It does not mean to say, and this shlita is not b'bchinas shlita behechrach. It is not in the form of shlita behechrach, of superimposing, of forcing it. Kiim rather masher poyel boy hatikum behazichuch, that it affects in the nefesh habahamis. Tikkun, it perfects it, it cleans it up. Tikkun, perfecting, means bringing it to a full presence. What's a full presence? Let's go back to our table. A table in the street is not a table. When does a table acquire its full presence? When it is in a room serving human beings. Similarly, the nefesh elokis and nefesh habahamis. Nefesh habahamis is a living entity. But if it is a living entity without meaning, it's lacking tikkun. The nefesh elokis gives it a purpose, gives it meaning. It is a living entity. It has sechel. But the sechel is not focused. There's no tikkun. It needs to be perfected.
Are we also saying it senses that lack?
It senses that lack. Nefesh habahamis senses lack when the nefesh elokis presents it to it.
Oh, alerts it to what is lacking almost?
Right. Nefesh habahamis is a payment. It will not on its own solicit. The nefesh elokis engage in nefesh habahamis and says, "Don't you see this?" And the nefesh habahamis can respond to it. It senses that yes, and that is through zichuch, tikkun v'zichuch. Zichuch means it actually purified, which means, in a certain sense, there is a need for hechrech, of forcing it. He says, "Wait a second, don't go there. Try this."
Zichuk here meaning something harder than birur, like some kind of scrubbing. What's zichuk?
Well, through birur comes zichuch. Zichuch means refinement. Shanefesh habahamis yaskim al inyonei hanefesh elokis. He is mezachid nefesh habahamis, so the nefesh habahamis should agree, consent to the inyon of nefesh elokis. Now, the Indian that Nefesh Abamis, the Alter Rebbe says that there is the Beinani, everybody knows what a Beinani is. Then there's a Tzaddik. There's a Tzaddik for Toivloi and Tzaddik for Aloi. Tzaddik Gomor, it's called, and Tzaddik Sheine Gomor. And the difference is, Tzaddik She'enoi Gomor also, in a sense, has killed enough of the Yetzer Hara. There's no way he can go to, he's in the category above the Bein. What is the difference? And therefore the Nefesh HaBahamis Badi Tzaddik Gomor agrees with the Nefesh HaLekis. But this agreeing with the Nefesh HaLekis is due to the fact that it's so refined that it understands, it recognizes the mile of the Nefesh HaLekis. Not that it on its own pursues that Inyan HaLekis. Tzaddik Gomer is the pshat that the Ra nepech letoiv. It on its own looks for a Holocaust. That is a different category. Tzaddik Gomer, the Alter Rebbe says, as rare tzaddikim are, Tzaddik Gomer is totally a rarity. So that the tikkun zichuch שהנפש הבאמיס יסכין על עניון הנפש הלקיס. Should consent. This is a low level of tzaddik. And he also recognizes and he senses the union from the Holocaust. Ad, all the way to the point, שגם הוא ירצה בעניון Holocaust, that he too should recognize a union from want in the union from the Holocaust. And that is possible through birur and zichur, nefesh habamis. And nefesh halikis engages nefesh habamis to the point that it refines the nefesh habamis to the point where it goes to its own essence, and then it also wants in the Holocaust.
But the Beinoni also nefesh habamis is masking. Otherwise, nothing will get done. Yeah.
But the Beinoni nefesh habamis is put to sleep.
Not a participant.
It's not a participant.
So when you walk to shul, or you get out of bed to come to shul. So
nefesh habamis knows this is not the time for me to voice my opinion.
But it's not exactly masking, it just kind of comes along.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the difference between masking and tzaddik gamur was there the nefesh habamis is not just agreeing, but he's initiating.
He's a pre-participant.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said way back, that the sechel is mislabish b'choymer hamoyach. You know that? We emphasized it a lot. Not that sechel is the moyach is aware of the sechel. No, the sechel is mislabish b'choymer hamoyach. The very fabric of the moyach becomes sechelig, and it is sechelig.
Paltiel, if by the Beinoni, if it's not the echreach, like ratzon, and he senses that it's not the time to voice his opinion.
By Beinoni.
Yeah, it must be that somewhere in there is a sensitivity to the inyan.
Well, the question is whether sensitivity to the Inyan or sensitivity to the supremacy of the Nefesh HaLekis.
So, but then it's echreach, then it's al derech ratzon.
It's because the Nefesh HaLekis showed it that I know better than you.
Ratzon doesn't have that.
Huh?
Ratzon doesn't have that. Ratzon doesn't have that.
Ratzon is superimposing, that's what he said before.
there's no. But
Ratzon
it's
is
not
the
because.
supreme
Not
koyach.
because
It's essentially is only a nefesh koyach. There's no, it's an essential. It comes from an essential truth. And we'll still talk about ratzon. Right now we're trying to understand keches pnimim. So then there is a union that the nefesh olikis engage in nefesh abamis, and to the point where it actually affects a tikkun and zichuch of the nefesh abamis. Achigam hu yitze b'yon alakus, to the point where he too will want in yon of alakus. Like we mentioned many times, the phenomenon. Sight is a super koyach. It's like chokhmah. Why is it a super koyach? Because sight brings the reality of the world to the person. Not just he knows this is here, this is there. He knows it because it's real, not because it's something which affects him. That's a different sight. And that's why we say that a sightless person, Chas v'sholem, is not, it's bottom of mitzvah. He doesn't have a yitzhar hora. Why? Because the world is not real to him. So we said, what about this the sightless person who was sighting before and he lost his sight? Does he have a sense of the reality? So we said yes, because he already was exposed to it. He already knows what reality is, worldly reality. The similar union is the nefesh alkis and nefesh abamis. Nefesh alkis engage in nefesh abamis, and it shows in nefesh abamis its perception, its view, and nefesh abamis for the moment recognizes it. Just one moment of recognizing already refines it. So he knows there is something more real than its own mitzvahs, its own interest, even though you cannot hold on to it. But it was already refined.
Paltiel, the Matoi Rishon, the foundation for sechel. This is a nefesh abamis. This is the nefesh abamis. This is the pnimius. The nefesh abamis has this. This is not coming from the nefesh alukis. This he has. No.
Well, yes, it's true. The difference is though that the nefesh alukis primarily its reality is its awareness of the Motzei. And this is how it looks on everything from the perspective of Motzei. Nefesh abamis sees also the Motzei, but this is a rationalization in a sense. I see it. It came from, I see that this is not something that made itself. This whole stupidity, I think, made itself, is absolute idiocy. This is not how human beings see. But he sees it via its physical experience. So that's also, he also senses the from tradition because it's a living entity, but not the way the Nefesh Elokis sees it from a top-down perspective. Let's finish this entire panorama, this entire occurrence, where the nefesh is mislabish in the koiches, in the ivonim and so forth, and all the way to the point that the koiches can be interrelate, and the nefesh olikis can interrelate the nefesh abamis. Kol zehu, This entire view is lefi shehoyevorim hem kelim ruim le'etzos hanefesh. It is because the evorim are kelim suited for the oil tzos hanefesh. This is clearly still going to be dealt with, but the principle here is that the nefesh looks at the evorim and the guf ha'odom, and it can identify with it. It relates to it. Al kain, and for this reason, our koiches misgalim, the koiches allow themselves to be revealed, because they feel at home. Upoyalim bohem, and they affect and they function in the evorim. Because they don't feel they are in a strange place, even though this is Gashmis and this is Ruchnis. But the Gashmis of the Evorim, of the Guf HaOdom, is kind of beckoning to the Tzuras HaNefesh. There's not time. I just want to. When a person enters a home, and in the home there is what today is called a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, and a bedroom, and so forth. These are all accommodating aspects in the home. But it's not just accommodating in the practical sense. It makes a person feel comfortable. He relates to this because it represents a human perception of life. Not just on a functioning level. And therefore he feels comfortable. That this is why in this home he reveals himself. He functions like a full-fledged human being. Not just on an active level, but in a personal level. The nefesh, in the guf ha'odom, senses that it is at home. This is a guf and this is a nefesh. Different realm. The human being in the home is also shaloi be'erachin else. But it allows him to reveal himself. And the nefesh also is allowed to reveal itself, to express itself in the guf ha'odom. This is it for this morning. All right, this is it. Have a great day. Good Chassidus, everyone.